Welcome back to the Mad Spideyverse. I'm Mad Spidey, and thank you once again for tuning into my channel. Today will be an episode of my artist series. I think it's believed to be episode 44, I think it is. So, but the episode that I'll be doing today will be featuring superstar old school artist Barry Kitson. Barry, UK artist who's basically done everything and anything, especially for the big two. He hasn't actually worked a lot for independents, even though he did do a lot for, I think it's IPC Productions, who did the 2000 AD magazines. But Marvel and DC, he's done everything. He's done all the major characters like Marvel. He's done Spidey and Avengers and Cap and Iron Man and Thor and everything. And DC, he's done Batman and Detective and Superman and Flash and Green Lantern, and he's basically done everything pretty much for the main two and all their mainstream characters. Yeah, pretty much, to be perfectly honest, I can't actually remember how far back this was. I think I actually received the piece in 2016, and there's a bit of a story to this one. I promise it won't be the 20-minute one that I did a few episodes back. But there is a decent story to this one. So I received it in 2016, but it was actually took about 3 to 3.5 years to actually, from where the journey began. So it would have been, I think it was late 2012, early 2013, when I actually commissioned Barry. He posted on, I think it was his Facebook group. I think it was either the Facebook group or like, because I'm friends with him on Facebook. Noticed he posted that he was open for commissions at the time. He was doing a lot of shows, like traveling a lot of the world, doing a lot of conventions and things like that. And I think he was just had some spare time, some downtime, and just decided to open up his list. So I jumped on it and I just said, look, just plain old school original Spidey, red and blue Spidey. I don't think I even asked for any background or anything, to be perfectly honest. I think I just asked for 11x17 Spidey in watercolor, so it'll be a colored piece. So pretty much once that was sort of happening, and then this was before he had Caitlin, who pretty much helps him organize all his stuff now. He'd said, yeah, look, I'll get to it. Obviously, I'm traveling a lot. May take me a bit of time. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Honesty up front. I was totally happy with that. He did ask for payment up front as well, which a lot of artists sort of do nowadays and also did back then. It was a few $100s, even with the conversion rate and stuff like that. So I was quite happy to pay that, especially to get an artist like Barry, who's been around since the 80s. As I said, done everything and anything. So I was more than happy. I said, look, more than happy to wait. I kept in constant contact, like, every couple of weeks, every couple of months, whatever like that. I just shoot him an email saying, look, any progress or anything like that. And then he would say, obviously, been busy, been traveling, had some, some deadlines come up and things like that. Even though it was quite a decent amount of time, so 3.5 years, the contact was always there. And that's the one thing, I don't mind waiting if the contact's there. Obviously, if you're waiting and there's no contact, then you're like, have they taken my money? But yeah, Barry was always replying. Like, it might take him a few days or something, but he never let me go any more than about a few days before replying to an email. So very, very, sort of great communication skills. So over time, it went on and it went on and it went on and, sort of dragged on, as I said, 3.5 years. But basically what had happened is it got to, I vaguely remember it was something like the 2.5 year mark or something like that. And he actually said that, because Barry actually lives like in the middle of nowhere in the northern part of the UK. So like, I know he said like the only way to pretty much, like if you drive up there, it's all country dirt roads. there is a train that comes near there and, stuff like that. But he's pretty much out in the middle of nowhere, basically on a farm as far as I know. So, yeah, like it's obviously getting to the post. There's no local post office or anything like that. So very hard to actually, post out commissions and stuff, especially if you're traveling a lot and, don't get much sort of downtime and things like that. So, yeah, it gets to this point, and he actually said that he had a friend of his. He'd actually passed on the pay. It was done. He'd passed on the piece to a friend, and the friend had posted it out. And I'm like, have you got a tracking number or something like that? And he's like, oh, he didn't get one or something like that. He goes, can you just give it a month or two, just in case, delays and stuff like that in shipping. And I'm like, yep, that's fine. No worries. He's letting me know, I'll just keep waiting. And obviously, I have, because of the communication has been there, I haven't, got angry, I haven't lashed out, I haven't sworn or, cursed him out or say, just effing get it to me or anything like that, because, he's such a super nice guy, super professional and apologetic and always communicative. So a couple of months went by and I emailed him and I said, look, it still hasn't arrived. So he's like, okay, don't worry about it. If it arrives, it arrives. If not, I'm going to do you another piece anyway. Meantime, as I said, this is about over the 3-year mark. And the funny thing is that my better half, Beck, Mrs. Spidey, whatever you want to call her, was actually going to the UK with her mum for a month. And Wales and I think maybe a little bit of Scotland and Ireland, but mainly the UK and Wales. So she's like, do you want me to try and pick it up from him or something like that? And I'm like, maybe a bit hard, maybe he's a bit funny, because I've never actually met Barry in person. Maybe it's a little bit weird, just ask him out of the blue, look, can you meet me somewhere, even though he lives there in the middle of nowhere. He could have been overseas doing conventions or something like that. So anyway, I emailed Barry and I said, look, mate, she's coming to the UK. She's going to be there for a month. Is there any way possible that you could possibly, give it to her, meet her somewhere or something? He was more than happy to do this. And, this is the part of the story, that it's taken 3.5 years to get this piece. But it took my better half to go all the way over the other side of the world to the UK, to the middle of nowhere, to actually be able to pick this piece up. So pretty much from what she told me was, her and her mum actually went out, I emailed and I got the address of, Barry's like, okay, you need to catch a train out to this particular station and then I can come and pick you up. And I'm like, because I couldn't afford to go to the UK, so I missed out, and obviously I didn't have a passport, so there's no way, and I couldn't get out of work, so there's no way I could go. So obviously I missed out on that experience. But yeah, basically, I'm emailing between Beck and between Barry and saying, look, this is where they're going to meet and this is the train they're going to catch and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, pretty much from what she told me, she her and her mum caught the train out to this station in the middle of train station in the middle of nowhere. Barry or his wife or both actually went and picked them both up, took them back to his house, and Beck actually spent the time with Barry in his studio, and he actually was finishing off the piece there to hand off to Beck. And her mum actually spent time with Barry's wife on this farm. So I thought that would have been an experience in itself, and very, very cool and very gracious of Barry to actually allow pretty much total strangers into his house. Obviously, if it was maybe a different story, because we've been, talking so long and things like that, he'd sort of, we sort of know each other, but doesn't know them from anything. So yeah, very, very gracious and very, very thankful for that. But yeah, so a very long-winded story, obviously, but obviously the results came in. So Beck actually, fortified it and stuff and carried it back from the UK and then handed it off to me. The other thing of note is he actually gave me a couple of the little sort of thumbnail and rough sort of layouts of the actual piece itself. And the other thing is, obviously, because of the extra time we went to and the extra effort, he gave me a bit more than what I paid for. So, as I've said plenty of times before, even on live stream stuff like that, when I'm talking about OA and especially commissioning artists, is be very patient. And generally, 9 times out of 10, in my experience alone, and I have heard, obviously, a lot of other, guys that do commission stuff, that, 9 times out of 10, if you're polite and you more than happy to be patient about the weight and things like that, you will get more than what you paid for, more than what you bargained for. So he's obviously done like just a little sort of rough sort of layout of the actual piece itself. So you can see it's just sort of scrap bit of thing, just this is the way I want to sort of do it. And obviously he's done something a little bit bigger there, just to do a full sort of layout to try and get a bit more of the head positionings and stuff like that, just to sort of, get a bit of composition. And then there's the piece itself. As you can see, Doc Ock, Kingpin, Spidey in the middle. You got Chameleon, Green Goblin, and Black Cat all in there together. And as you can see, he's done to Simon Best Wishes. It says Best Wishes. Very Best Wishes. Barry Kitson, he's signed it there. So yeah, very, very cool piece indeed. Very long way, but very professional. Plenty of communication. And that was the end result. So as you can see, it's all worked out in the long run. As I said, being patient, plenty of communication, things like that. I got more than what I paid for. So anyway, that will do for this particular episode. Do all the usual YouTubey stuff. Hit the thumbs up because it apparently helps with the algorithm. Leave a comment if you wish. And obviously, there'll be more of these sort of episodes. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I know I haven't done much content in the last week. Just trying to get back into the right headspace. But we'll get there eventually. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Spidey out.